There's a new trend emerging of prominent conservatives who use their platforms to speak out against COVID-19 vaccines, getting the virus, and dying from it. Mark Bernier recently accused the government of, quote, acting like Nazis in their push to get more Americans vaccinated, and he died Saturday after a 3-week battle with coronavirus. His death comes after Phil Valentine, another conservative radio host in Tennessee, and Dick Farrell, a Florida-based radio host and Newsmax anchor, also both died from coronavirus at scoffing at the need for vaccines and voicing skepticism about how effective they are. Joining us now is CNN political commentator S.E. Cupp. Given this new trend and what we were seeing, is there any chance it could change minds? Because we're hearing even from Phil Valentine's brother, who was saying if he could tell you now to get it, he would.
Look, you hope so. I mean, these are anecdotal examples, but you hope that they are jarring enough. I think this is a bigger problem, though, with right-wing media. And, years ago, I was asked to fill in for a right-wing radio host for a couple days. I did my job. I brought my strong opinions and passion and facts, and was told after by the station owner, that was great, but you aren't outraged enough. And I think the industrial outrage complex that has taken over right-wing media has been really corrosive. Outrage is all that matters. And I think a lot of these guys that you just mentioned really, took their characters seriously and wore their characters not just on the air, but when they got home, to the point that they refused a life-saving vaccine in the midst of a global pandemic. And look, even Trump wasn't that method. Trump got the vaccine eventually and is now getting booed at his own rallies for telling people to get it. But I think if you're a viewer or a listener and you are prone to these arguments, you are going to take these radio guys very seriously when really all they're doing is acting a part.
Look, it's a tragedy
for
them and their families. It really is. It's an even bigger tragedy if people listen to them.
Yes, and many do.
And many do. And then it begs the question, okay, so if the deaths of these people, well, now all their families speaking out, can't change minds, what can? I hear from scientists within the government scientists who say, it's hard for us because we sometimes feel when we start speaking out on vaccines, it just backfires.
Deaf ears.
Yeah,
and I think it's important to look at the data here. This is not just the three of us talking about this out of nowhere. The data is very clear. The largest group of Americans who are unlikely to get the vaccine are white Republicans. Within that group, one of the largest groups are Republicans who watch right-wing news. This is not made up. This is a very real correlation, now cause and effect. And you have to ask, okay, these three radio hosts hopefully will do the job, but the deaths of millions of people worldwide and hundreds of thousands of Americans did not do that job. So you have to wonder if these people are reachable. You hope they are, but I'm not so sure.
And we keep hearing from the White House, listen to your doctor, talk to your doctor about getting vaccinated. But in reality, a lot of people listen to people like this. They have more outsized influence than a primary care doctor would.
Or like a doctor named Dr. Facebook, who's not a great doctor in my experience. S.E., stand by for a moment, if you will, because we have an audio-visual presentation we'd like you to see. Okay. A couple of just lies spreading about President Biden in certain circles. CNN fact checker Daniel Dale here to set the record straight.
Two really weird little lies about President Joe Biden went viral this past weekend among some conservatives on Twitter. The first of these lies was that the remains of the final U.S. troops killed in Afghanistan had been returned to a U.S. military base, and nobody from the Biden administration had shown up to honor them. This claim was tweeted by a Republican congressional candidate, among others. It was amplified by a Fox News host, among others. It was complete nonsense. These tweets were tweeted on Saturday night, hours before the remains of the troops actually arrived at Dover Air Force Base. When they did land shortly after 8 a.m. on Sunday, President Joe Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, the Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and numerous other Biden administration officials were there for the dignified transfer. The other weird lie was that President Biden fell asleep during a White House meeting last week with Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett. Now, the video shows this, again, just did not happen. The video shows that President Biden did drop his head and keep it there right after Prime Minister Bennett made reference to that week's difficult days, presumably a reference to what had happened in Afghanistan. But President Biden kept moving his hands the whole time. In other words, he was clearly awake. And what a lot of the viral tweets cut out was that President Biden responded immediately and appropriately right after Prime Minister Bennett stopped talking. Take a watch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I look forward to working with you now and for many years forward. Thank you.
Well, thank you, and you give me credit, much of which should go to Barack Obama.
Once again, this was a whole bunch of nonsense. John and Caitlin?
There is lying and spreading misinformation, and then there is lying and spreading misinformation about fallen soldiers while their parents have just found out in the hours before that they have died in action.
Yeah, it's appalling. But it's also, I'm sad to say, not surprising. There have been no consequences for lying, whether that's as a president, President Trump, elected officials, members of the right-wing media. There are no consequences. There is, in fact, safe harbor for doing so. And lots of people who find conspiracy theories and lies to be more comforting than facts and the truth. So, I mean, there's blame to go around. But if you are a part of the media, and I'm looking at you, Fox News, and you are not fact-checking Laura Ingraham, you are not fact-checking your hosts and your anchors and your reporters, you are the problem.
Well, they couldn't exist. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, how could they exist as a network if all of a sudden they started fact
They
checking?
started doing that. They started doing journalism. And this is not to say there aren't people at Fox News doing good journalism, but Fox News has for too long now given comfort to liars and gaslighters and fact deniers.